Why Pilots Are Blue, where we talk about all things mental health, well-being, and music. This is the first one of 2026, so quite excited.
Happy 2026, everyone.
Hope everyone had a wonderful break away. And let's be honest, I think a lot of people do dread sort of the pressures of the new year, right? Kicking into sort of gear when you haven't felt like you're back in gear.
Isn't it the second Monday in January called Blue Monday? It's like supposed to be the most depressing day of the year, apparently.
It's supposed to be the most depressing month, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the most depressing day of the most depressing month.
When everyone spent their money.
Blue Monday. Yeah, I think so.
It's just that really long drag into the rest of Jan.
Yeah, it's just the weather and everybody's spent.
What did you do New Year's Eve then?
Not a lot really. Just just had a friend just came round. We went out for coffee first of all, and then we both realised we were celebrating New Year's alone. So she just came round and had something to eat. Just caught up really. Nothing major really. I was just looking after the cat really, because you get tons of fireworks and the cat goes.
See, the Netherlands is banning fireworks to protect the animals, which is really cool.
Yeah, too right. Yeah, I heard a really, really bad story about, is it a year ago or 2 years ago? Some really rich, arrogant sod newspaper owner or something from New York. He bought a ranch in Australia, and he told all his neighbours that he was having a big fireworks do for New Year's Eve, and they said, "Hold on, we've got livestock and everything. They're going to be spooked." I can't remember what he said. Anyway, he went ahead with it, and there was horses dying and things like that,
God.
And it's just this big, he's not even one of them. He's not even like an Australian rancher. He just got a ton of money. Probably woke up one morning, what shall I do with my money today? I'll buy a ranch in Australia. Total disregard. And I think he is one of those classic ones where I think he, the first, when the kind of the aftermath started kicking in of him doing it, I think he just sort of said, "Look, calm down." And then I think, because of the internet, I think a lot of people were kind of giving him jip online and threatening to, I don't know, not buy his newspaper or something. And then he did the usual kind of back down with an apology that obviously doesn't mean, but to appease everybody. Yeah, it's terrible. Just didn't. Yeah, I remember there was a horse that had to be put down because it was so spooked. He just ran into a fence or something and broke a leg or something.
Yeah, doesn't it? It's like, why do we put so much onus on it that it has to happen? I mean, if we're absolutely disregarding everything else because this is just tradition, it's like.
Exactly, but it's like common decency, isn't it? It's kind of like, why? He's obviously got some intelligence about him being a rich, powerful newspaper magnate. But so he's obviously intelligent enough not to care. He's just kind of he just doesn't give a toss. He's just just selfish, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not this empathy thing, right?
Yeah, it's not that he didn't not think about it. He knew about it. He just couldn't give a toss, and how some people don't have a conscience about that kind of stuff. It just amazes me.
I didn't see a single firework, actually. I was quite proud of myself, even though obviously some years I've enjoyed it. This year it's just different. I don't know. And
heard a load, definitely.
Yeah, I heard a lot. Well, yeah, I was sort of in a pub in London.
Yeah, how was that?
It was cool. It was good fun. Just had a bit of a boogie. Kind of serendipitously kind of walked into the pub that had a DJ and stuff, female DJ, which was nice. And
no celebrities this time.
No, Boy George. But it was it was fun. So I felt like I'd got the sort of fun factor in before the end of the year, and now it's sort of like all this pressure looming about the bills, keeping the wolves at bay, etc.
Yeah,
We do have some
Uh,
questions. We kind of generally do this, don't we, each session, just to kind of give us some guidance as well into what we can talk about, and hopefully make it exciting for people. Otherwise, put your playback speed at times two, so you know, kind of be dragged through this. I think we're probably looking a bit bedraggled, aren't we? A bit tired and a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah, just that January feeling. Yeah,
Yeah, but you know, spring will be around the corner before we know it. So,
yeah.
what have you been doing to kind of quell the doldrums?
We do some qigong
Yeah, you're still
every
doing
day. Still doing the qigong, which is great. Been trying to get out on the bike, but it's been a bit because it's been a bit icy.
that. Mm,
Um, I went out last night. Went around my mum's last night, so I went out on the single speed bike, which is I thought would be good because it was. I mean, I got about 100 yards down the road, and I thought, is this a good idea? Because it was freezing, and but luckily the single speed, you warm up quickly because you've only got one gear. So and there's a few sort of minor hills on to my mum's, so
yeah.
stand up pedaling up those, it kind of warms you up a little bit. So I've been trying to do some cycling. I was going to try and get up London with the bike one day, but um, kind of weekends. Long story short, I like to take the bike from Amersham train station to Marylebone,
Hmm.
um, but um, I like to go at weekends, like on a Sunday, because then you're not restricted. Because if you take a bike on the train, you have to do it in off-peak hours. And if you kind of get caught short at the end of the day, it's probably about a 3 hour window where you can't go, take the bike back to Amersham. So, but at the weekends, the trains haven't been running to Marylebone, they've just been stopping at Baker Street. So,
Right.
and I'm not really too sure about. I think you can take a bike there, but there's no lifts. So you have to go up and down escalators with it. It's just too much faff. So, you can go to Baker, you can go to Marylebone in the week, but you're restricted by the peak and off peak hours with a bike kind of thing. So it's the thought that counts.
Fair play for trying,
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and do as much cycling as I can. Really, um,
especially in this weather.
it's
Man,
just great for the soul. It's a bit like the qigong. It's just like mind, body, spirit. Even that. I mean, it takes me maximum of 10 minutes to cycle to my mum's, and just doing that one way, you get there and you feel pretty good about yourself.
yeah, energy
Um,
pumping through the veins.
yeah, it's just kind of like you had a threefold workout. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Well, Zach's been my exercise lately again. You know, back to the grindstone. So,
how's that been going?
yeah, you know, it's incredible. He's saying so much more now, and but also, you know, he can help with things. Like if I lose my phone or something, he'll go and look for it for me.
Yeah, right, okay.
That's my number one resolution for the year. Don't lose a phone.
Yeah, I mean
Is,
that's something I've never ever done.
wow,
Even in my drinking days, I lost bank cards and all sorts, but never lost my phone.
that's amazing.
So touch wood, touch the wood in the background there.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'd be absolutely horrified if I lost my phone,
yeah,
as we all would. I think it's kind of got your life on there, isn't it?
it's a
I
horrible
mean,
feeling.
you don't know the number. I mean, they're all hopefully it's all in the cloud, a lot of it, but you don't know. I don't know people's numbers like the old
Mm,
days. When you used to write them down in a little black book or something.
yeah, of course.
Um,
You know, it's the fact that your whole life's on it now, isn't it? Passwords and all the rest of it. But that's why
yeah,
I do the old passcode so no one can get into my phone in case. But you still have
yeah,
feeling, don't you? They're going to get into my
y-
phone.
yeah. Just kind of make it as hard as possible for people.
So shall we? We've got like a few sections of questions here.
Okay.
6 rounds really. So shall I sort of do the 1 to 3, and then you can do like 4 to 6 or something?
Yeah. Let
Have
me
you there?
just, let me just grab them.
So, how does the start of a new year actually feel when you're a musician trying to survive, not just dream? It's an interesting one.
So, are you answering that?
I'm asking you
You're
first.
asking me. How does the start of a new year actually feel when you're a musician trying to survive, not just dream? Well, I suppose with anything, you kind of you reflect on the year just gone, don't you? And probably previous years, and kind of new resolutions, a bit like life, really. You have the New Year's resolutions, you just have your musical ones. Um,
Have you looked at what we've done, for instance, and thought, because I still feel like we've had no direction, and we've never really had that sort of formal meeting, have we? Where we sat down and go, right, we're going to do this next and do a massive campaign, and
no, no. I
you
mean, you
know,
kind of.
it's-
I think our one of our defects really is we do tend to set milestones, but we generally just wander off from them. You know.
yeah. Well, things get
Um,
in the way, and it's like last year just absolutely, flashed by, didn't it? So it's like
yeah, but I
constantly
mean,
to
uh,
plan for birthdays, other people's stuff, you know,
yeah,
and we've left very little time for the music, but it's always there bubbling away, isn't it? And obviously, we're just trying to do little bits and pieces.
yeah. Always tinkering about. So I think. I mean, I can not being a someone has to rely on music for money. Um, I can't really sort of about the trying to survive bit. I
Well,
mean,
exactly. It doesn't apply to us really, does it? Because we're not.
yeah, but
Uh,
and also the second question, when people say New Year, new goals, what goes through your mind? Which is kind of what we just talked about, really. It's that kind of like, okay, what do you kind of, I suppose we both individually probably thought about what we want to do, um, musically, either together or separate or whatever. You just kind of generally do, don't you, with your life kind of thing. Like I definitely want to get rid of my flat this year, and then you actually think about music. Like, I mean, I've decided I've kind of, my one of my New Year's resolutions is that I'm not buying any more musical equipment that I don't need. I've got two really good guitars now, got an amplifier, I've got loads of pedals, and that goes on to things like, I've got two bikes, don't need any more bikes, got two cameras, don't need any more cameras. It's just kind of being happy with what you've got instead of trying to get that dopamine fix,
right.
of thinking, oh, well, maybe I do need another pedal or another amp or another guitar, when I quite clearly don't. There's a good saying in photography, actually. It's kind of like the best camera you can have is the one you've got, you know, that's the best camera you can have is the one you've got. So it's basically saying,
Great
um,
camera.
it's not about what kind of camera you've got. It's what you do with it. And it's the same with like music, the same with like guitars. It doesn't matter if I've got, a 10 grand 1960s Gibson, uh, 330 or Casino or something like that. It's still going to pretty much sound the same as my other guitars. It's how I approach a guitar, how I
Exactly.
play, as
Yeah.
opposed to what I'm playing.
Mm.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, there are so many amazing things you can do with just one instrument. It's not like, you need a whole studio to actually make a song. You can do. I often just sit there and stuff will come out without anything. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
part.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
I don't know where it comes from. It's just some sort of innate need to kind of
yeah. And
press
that's
the
and
creative, right?
that's the kind of thing about me having the Tascam 8 track. Instead of like a laptop based uh, digital audio thing, um, a Logic or something like that. I'm kind of restricted to what I've got, and because of that, I've probably written and recorded stuff differently to how I would have done if it had been straight into a laptop. Straight into a laptop, it's kind of there. You can manipulate it so much more.
Mm.
With a Tascam, I've got to play every single verse and chorus, every single bit. With a laptop, I can just play, get a good chorus down, and I can just copy and paste that all over the place. It's
Yeah.
all kind of like it's all kind of different like that. That's what I really liked about the Tascam. Is kind of like it's that
Instant.
DIY. It's a DIY kind of ethic.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And actually, you can get something great out of it, and even just for
Yeah,
that
exactly, exactly. You
idea,
don't.
it'll develop. But
I remember I did. Of course, going back about 4 years now, I did a. Do you remember I did that track for that Doves tribute album kind of thing, where there was a bunch of us. We took a song each and recorded it for Dove's compilation covers album to raise money for mental health. And I remember I was the only one that wasn't using like Logic or a laptop based computer software. And I remember it sounded, and mine sounded, you know, um, analog as opposed to digital. And I think I got kind of possibly got a bit looked down upon because of that. But I remember the the Dove when it got kind of released. This guy who runs the Doves fan club, and I remember he was saying, people were saying, "What's your favourite tracks?" and that, and he remarkably he said mine was his favourite track, and I kind of really like that in that it's good ego boost, obviously, but it's kind of like, okay, well, you don't need, it's the feeling you put in it, whether it's analog or digital, it's the feeling you put in the song, as
yeah,
opposed to, and I thought I'd put quite good feeling into the song I did. But I remember I sent a demo off to the WhatsApp group, and it was because I can't sing and I haven't got, I wasn't going to sing it. I used like an auto thing, like an auto wah to do the vocal bit, which kind of like an expression pedal on itself. I thought it sounded all right. And one guy, I sent the demo off put it on the WhatsApp group, and the guy came back almost immediately. He said, is the auto wah, is that just showing where the vocal's going to be? Because it does, just a tip." He goes, the auto wah can be a bit grating. And it was like, thank you. No, it is going to be the vocal. It's
it
kind of
wasn't
like
meant for you.
everything's subjective, but it's kind of like, so in the end of the day, it was like it was you against the world in that kind of respect. So yeah,
Yeah,
but it is the kind of basically. So going back to the question, it's kind of like, whatever you've got is the best thing you've got at the time.
yeah,
Um, whatever guitar you got, you use that guitar to the best you can. As opposed to thinking if I buy a guitar that's 5 grand, it's going to make me sound 5 grand better, and it's not. It's
mm.
just kind of like it's how you it's like how you sing, how you articulate stuff. Same with guitar, it's how you play it. How you kind of like form the chords or like pick, finger pick and that. It can be quite subtle or not.
Yeah,
So
and
that
what emotion comes out of it as well, isn't it? Basically,
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's all you can do great stuff with a £500 guitar, and it won't sound that much different from a £10,000 guitar. So
do
yeah,
you feel the pressure to pretend things are moving faster than they really are?
not really. No, not really. Uh,
Yeah,
no,
because
not.
there's always been this sort of same level type stuff, really, hasn't it? Because we
Yeah, I
haven't got
mean,
to that stage where we're suddenly having to do all the, you know,
yeah, I think there's a kind of like
whatever. But
maybe, and I can be guilty of this. You can get a bit into like procrastination of it all. And you can kind of like, and I've read about loads of bands. They have to set themselves a deadline,
mm,
otherwise you're just never going to finish stuff. Because I got, when I record stuff, it's kind of like it's either a bit half-assed with it and just doing it quite slowly when I could do it quicker, um, or I'm just trying to keep working at it to try and make it better when it's already okay, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
it's
we don't
how,
really feel the same pressure maybe, obviously, as other bands because we're not at that stage anyway.
no, I think if you got
Doing the odd gig and stuff is nice that we can rehearse and sort of.
yeah, I mean, I think the pressure comes when your record company's giving you 500,000 quid and you've got to record an album and you've got to pay back that 500,000 quid because it's just an
Mm.
advance, it's just a loan, and then you're under pressure to write stuff that's going to be good enough to recoup. People are going to want to buy it to start recouping that money, and also there's that pressure to not compromise and just go completely X Factor, write something that's completely poppy that will go on the radio and probably get some money, but it's just not what you really wanted to do. And there's
Probably
pressure
really
of like the
good
record
anyway.
company wanting to pressure of like record companies wanting to dictate, or there you know, should be at least another single on that album or whatever. It's a bit like that email you sent me yesterday from that producer from years ago who
Yeah, yeah.
critiqued a couple of our songs, and he
It's,
was trying to get us to rewrite stuff. He said, "Oh, the chorus should come in after 20 seconds."
and he hated the
Um,
title, didn't he? Really Magnolia. Why did he call it Really Magnolia? Why?
yeah, exactly.
Well,
And it's like, why not? It's nothing
yeah,
to do. It's nothing to
not
do with you.
relative. Um,
I thought it's a really good title, and it fits the
mm,
song. Really fits the song. And then the other one he said he didn't like at all.
it's like use your
Uh,
imagination at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be this kind of rigid. It's got to have
yeah,
a title that it's somehow in the song because he mentioned another title that we did have in a line, but we didn't give it that title. So it's like, well,
it's a bit like it's one reason I really like Radiohead is because they made enough. Fair enough. They had to kind of like, and Talk did this actually. Talk are a better example. They remember Talk from the 80s,
yeah, of course, yeah, brilliant
and
band.
they started off as like a sub Duran type synth band,
Mm.
and then they brought an album out in. It started having a few hits. Brought an album out in '86 called "Is It the Color of Spring?" and which made them enough money that the record company kind of left them alone. And so what they did was they had enough time and space to write the record they really wanted to write, and it's the the next record, which is I think called Spirit of Eden, released in '88. It's just completely different. It's a fantastic record. It's got about 6 songs on it. Lasts for 40 minutes, 6 songs. There's no singles at all. They just made it how they wanted to make it. Like Mark Hollis, the main songwriter, he used to bring in people, didn't tell them anything about the song, used to stick them in a room with a strobe light and get them to just play over and over again on the track. And then they would play for hours sometimes, and then they'd go away and he would ruthlessly cut down bits and bobs till he found the right bit and put it on. I remember I read an interview about the record company. They call it a playback when a record company comes down to the studio to hear how you're getting on into the playback. And it was kind of like, I think they said as soon as I heard the playback, they rather massively scaled down the amount of money they were going to spend on publicity for the album, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And that's like Radiohead, they did that with the Bends. So they made or the Bends and OK Computer, and then after OK Computer, they kind of went off piste and made Kid A and stuff, which completely different, completely
right, yeah.
lost a lot of fan base kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And they could have, for their own admission, they could have made like OK Computer Part Two or another The Bends because that's what people want.
Yeah,
But
die-hard fans stick at it, wouldn't they?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so I stuck with them. I mean, Kid A, I don't like all the songs on it,
Mhm.
but I kind of stuck with them, So yeah.
Yeah. And then, this whole thing with having the luxury and the time to even sit, go to a studio in the middle of the countryside or something and write that album in a few months. You know what I mean? That is a little
Yeah.
personal dream, but
Yeah. Or different studios, you go to 3 or 4 different studios.
yeah.
That luxury.
But yeah, I mean, obviously we've had constraints of the job stuff and financial
Mm.
um, little molehills to sort out,
Mm. Yep.
booze, etc. But yeah, this year maybe we'll keep doing the odd gig. Obviously,
Yeah.
every couple of months. Again, it's something that other people always think, well, why don't you give it gigging more? And it's it's
Yeah.
people's stuff as well, like that place that obviously cancelled their music night. And then chasing another venue that will potentially have you. So, which is what we're working on, right? That's kind of what we're always.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trying them out. Right. I think I'm asking you questions now, aren't I? This
Where are
is
we?
under the section, the reality of slow progress.
Okay.
This is where you normalize being slow moving without shame. So, what does slow progress look what does slow progress look like in your music career right now? Did you just ask me that?
No.
Oh no,
Continue
no. It's kind of a
section.
bit like the last question, isn't
Well,
it?
exactly. There's no slow progress because it's just always felt, um, it's just always been in the same lane, hasn't it, for us? Because we haven't got those deadlines and stuff. So slow progress is it's just no progress.
Yeah, it's just like you
But,
say, like life getting in the way, jobs and stuff.
well, the thing is, I've obviously been down that road anyway before. We'd have the instant gratification stuff, right? In those studios, you just pump out the vocals and then someone else mixes it and it's all done and dusted. With doing our kind of thing, it's obviously going to be slow anyway because we've only just found someone local to me anyway that can mix our tunes, right? Because I haven't got the right equipment at home. Or let's say the good quality stuff at home to do my own production. So yeah, that stuff is frustrating to me. I'm really grateful that a friend's offered to do it. Someone who's actually very busy and normally recording other people. But yeah, all of that stuff does take
Yeah.
a long time. So that's just my number one frustration with that kind of.
Yeah. But I think we're lucky as well that we don't have to just go into a studio to record everything. We can
Yeah,
record it at home.
at least I've got a mic at home. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
So again,
Because
I
it,
bought these speakers, didn't I? This week.
yeah, that's right.
Thinking
Yeah,
I was getting ahead, so then I had to deal with that setback again because I don't know why I don't do these things properly and fine tooth comb it because the leads didn't fit my equipment. I should have just done more homework on it, but now I'm having to
yeah.
send them back. So and then get the right speakers, which I think I've nailed, narrowed down. But all of that is frustrating as well because it just puts me back again. I can't record from home.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
yeah.
can't do stuff on our phones. But yeah, anyway, look, onwards and upwards. All that.
So have you ever questioned whether slow growth means you're failing?
Oh, of course,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you put
That's
yourself under pressure, don't you? Because yeah,
just like a given, isn't it? It's that sort of nagging feeling that you haven't succeeded or outlived your own expectations, never mind someone else's. Sort of. But again,
yeah.
we're not under that same sort of pressure, so um,
I think there's always that comparison, isn't there, between you thinking, oh, we should be putting stuff out as much as so and so.
yeah,
But
exactly.
it's just kind of like it's just if it takes time, it takes time.
Yeah, and what's really amazing though, and when you see other people, yeah, just putting out their regular content on Instagram, whether they're playing guitar or singing or whatever, it's just sort of wow, they they really have a lot of energy for it. But obviously, a completely different lifestyle, and that's the other thing, isn't it? There's no point comparing anything because everyone's just in different phases of their life. I'm sure a lot of musicians, again, going back to that question, is there a pressure to perform this year because you haven't, we didn't finish, well, we didn't finish our EP last year for a start. I'm sure a lot of people in a similar positions
Mm.
thinking about that. You just got to keep going, haven't you?
I
And
think, yeah, as long as you don't stand still, I think,
yeah,
um, yeah, just
totally
keep
stop.
going.
But then again, you don't know what people are after either. It's almost like,
Yeah, I mean, slow growth still means growth, you know,
hmm, yeah, absolutely.
you know, and what's someone's definite definition of slow is probably completely different to my definition of it, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, and it shouldn't sort of feel that you haven't achieved anything, because actually anything that you've done is an achievement, whether it's a small, you know, um,
absolutely.
injection of enthusiasm, whatever you want to put into some of your work. I mean, obviously, me being a bit scatty and stuff at home, there's definitely this creative buzz around something I can do, like the songwriting, but they all end up in a pile, and then I forget what I'm supposed to be working on. Do you see what I'm saying? So actually, I just work best spontaneously. I've realised that now. There's no point in trying to get uh, super kind of honed into something. It's just not how I operate. It just seems to flow.
Yeah, yeah, you got to find your way of doing stuff,
Yeah.
your process, you know.
So, mhm.
Um, okay,
Is that all the question?
so no, got a couple more. How do you measure progress when there's no steady paycheck or clear ladder?
Mm.
Mm.
Well, just what we said just now. You
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
see everything you do as something that's going to be contributing to the bigger picture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Again, it is that kind of like slow progress is still progress, you know. Um, you're still gonna get. I know. In some instances it's a race, but it's better to
I
do slow
mean,
progress and compromise, you know.
yeah. And then I guess if we're not as ambitious then as other musicians, you know what I mean? So that's the other thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
We don't have the
yeah. And it's
same
just
kind of progress issues.
you get some people who are just happy to um, churn stuff out on their own in the bedroom without even maybe wanting anybody else to hear it. You know, that's enough for them.
Exactly.
So it's all kind of
Classes, yeah.
subjective, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
what's something you're doing that looks small from the outside but feels huge to you?
Uh, I don't know. I think this just getting back in the saddle really is always a huge thing anyway.
Yeah.
I might make it look very easy, but you know, I do feel like I've had my fair share of shit to deal with, in the last few years. So, but it might look
Mm.
different to someone else, but actually for me, yeah, sort of actually even carrying on, right, doing this work, because it's
Mm.
from somewhere that is natural, that well of creativity. So yeah, that I'd say.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
it hasn't been easy to sort of get back into it, I guess you could say. But it's like the last few months, I'd say I've been much more creative than last year. So then you just kind of calculate how much you've developed, right? Do you feel that way, or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes you'll go a month where you've written three songs and then another 3 months where you don't write anything else. You know, it's kind of
yeah,
ebbs and flows, and it's kind of it's not anything creative. It's not like turning on a tap where you can just make it happen as and when.
mm,
Um, and it is kind of a lot of people they on our Instagram page they'll see a finished song or something like that, and but they don't know the kind of the background that's
the
gone
blood, sweat,
into
tears it's gone into. Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah. The kind of like you know the retakes and the things that didn't work when we were recording stuff. You know the kind of um, losing stuff. that kind of stuff when computers break down and having to redo stuff and
Mm.
yeah,
Losing flash drives and obviously work and having to sort things out from other computers and trying to
yeah,
find it's been a nightmare.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Word. But we carry on. Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
So the next section is work, money, and surviving stress, survival stress.
Okay.
Uh, how does money stress show up in your creative progress?
Money stress. Um,
Might put that in a song.
yeah. How does it show up? I mean, in a practical way, it shows up in just for instance, I got an iPad now, but I need to save some money to be able to buy a audio interface and then another interface for that. So from a practical point of view, that kind of stuff. I might have a song that I'm gagging to get down, but I can't. Um, apart from that, I mean, there's the kind of, I suppose, these venues where you have to, which you're always getting sent invites to, is that, you got to bring 10 people and then you'll
Yeah,
get paid. If we're relying on payment, you know, that would be stressful because trying to get 10 people into London to a little venue that's on a Sunday night, probably in the middle of winter, is a tricky thing.
yeah. Nigh on
Um,
achievable feat.
yeah, so I suppose it's those kind of things. I mean, because we both got jobs and stuff like that. It's not kind of it's not our sole kind of earner. So,
Yeah.
but it does kind of showing up in the creative process. Um, I don't know how it shows up in the creative process. To be honest with you, I've
I mean,
got
would it stop you then, I suppose, from, feeling enthused about what you're doing? Because you can just sit there and wallow about the fact that,
I'd
it
probably
is
be I'd probably
more.
be more if I was rich, I'd probably be more stressed because I'd have loads more guitars and loads more equipment and trying to
Yeah.
decide what to play,
Mm,
blah blah blah, and in the end, I'd probably achieve very little. And this goes back to what we were saying earlier. If you've just got one guitar or two guitars, that's all you've got.
yeah.
It takes a lot less time to decide, right, I'm going to use that guitar, let's get on with it, as opposed to, well, I'm going to use this guitar for the verse and then that guitar for the chorus. And then what does this one sound? Another guitar for the outro and then another one for the middle eight.
Yeah.
When you don't really need to. So I don't think, yeah, I think that'd be a bit of luxury
Mm.
stress if we ever got it.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. I think definitely we've talked about this so often, but the pandemic, when we were sort of constricted to certain ways of doing things, for those who've obviously stretched everything out anyway, but I suppose, yeah, for bands like us, it's been even more kind of the slow progress stuff because we haven't been able to finish the productions, right? So it just seems we're
Yeah.
bottom rung of the ladder, trying to even just do the basic stuff, right?
I mean, there's that. I mean, that is a kind of, if there is a stress, it's kind of that in that we haven't been able to buy
The
the
equipment's
basic equipment, or the equipment we have had has failed, and we've lost songs, which we have
right.
done, haven't we? We've lost good songs
Yeah,
along the way, and we have to redo them. And you always think, again, this goes back to Mark Hollis out of Talk Talk. He always never used to demo stuff because when you're happy with a demo, it means it's kind of captured a bit of magic,
yeah.
and you're never ever going to capture that again when you try and re-record it.
That's why
So
it's a good, yeah. That's why it's nice doing our gigs, isn't it? Because at least we can kind of let loose a bit, and the
yeah,
songs
yeah,
are there, even though they're not recorded.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Get
But
people,
it is that kind of like, that's kind of been the money stress really, and that we've not had the right equipment, not being able to afford the right equipment. The equipment we have got has failed, and we've lost whole chunks of songs and stuff, and then we've had to try and remember them and re-record them with the same vibe as they were originally, and it's very
Mm.
difficult to um, do that. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, it's interesting that obviously we've written a ton of tunes, and then when we sort of just fine tooth it down to a few songs for the set, and I still think there's other ones that we've completely missed because they're equally as good, but we've forgotten about it because it's one of those. Do you know what I mean? Those we
yeah. I mean, I was looking on the voice notes on my phone
we
the other
love
day,
tunes.
all the kind of like all the voice notes on there, and I've got like reams of them going back years. And there's so I listened to there's stuff on there like song ideas, and it's like got no idea how I played that. No idea. It sounds great, but I've got no idea how to play it.
Yeah.
Um,
Forget titles and things as well, don't we? Because it's like,
yeah, it's just kind of lyrics and stuff. So
yeah. But again, we continually. I mean, just started a new tune, haven't you? So we're always writing.
I have nice rural tune.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded a little bit like
Really Magnolia. Was it really?
theme tune to the Detectorists, a little bit, bit kind of like new folk,
All right.
possibly.
Yeah. I look forward to fleshing some stuff out for that.
Yeah.
Um, so am I on my section now? Mental health and burnout.
Mental health and burnout. Right, okay, hold on.
Well, we actually missed one question, which was, what's the hardest part of balancing a day job with your identity as a musician?
Well,
If you
I
have an
mean,
identity.
yeah, I mean, you need a day job for money just to survive generally, but musically, guitar strings and cables and when things break. Um,
Exactly. You just need that spare dollar all the
I think,
time.
yeah, I mean, I think not so much now, but in the past, the hardest part for me was to accept that it's probably in other bands I was in when I was younger, accept that I always kind of worked, always had a day job with the kind of mindset that this is just a job that I need until I make it famous, and it's that kind of that eased the resentment, um, especially when I was in my early 20s and a guy I knew I went to school with, he was like a professional musician. He was in a proper touring band and touring the world and everything. And I kind of had such a resentment against him being doing that. So I used to think that the only time I'd reconcile the job, which I mean, there's one particular job I hated, was that it was earning me money to be able to become a famous musician, which of course it never did.
Hey, there's still time yet.
But it was always kind of like uh, I always put myself as a musician first, as opposed to like a pensions admin person or whatever I was doing at the time.
Mm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, because I mean, I suppose, around the friends and family around us may not necessarily think the same way because they're not just not doing what we're doing, so they won't understand why it's important to keep going as a musician.
yeah, I mean, it's that kind of it's a kind of like real precarious employment option. It's that kind
Yeah.
of like, there's so many musicians out there who want to be famous that never become famous. And it's kind of, if you go to your parents saying, I want to be a professional guitarist, they're going to be like rolling their eyes going, well, you need to get a proper job.
Mm.
Um, Keep going with the guitaring, but get a proper job, just in case it doesn't happen, knowing full well it probably won't. And I think because of that, you kind of like feel that there's no parents, and that maybe not quite rightly, being someone in their getting towards their late 50s now, though I'm not a parent, but quite rightly, they just want to see you, they worry about your future and security and stuff.
Well, I guess it's all age related then, isn't it? Really, because
Yeah,
and obviously
yeah.
we're still going in our 50s. There's like there's all hope and chance for people in their 20s or 30. You know what I mean? It's sort of we
Yeah,
still
yeah.
feel
And
it,
it's
still
that
feel
kind of
it. You
I
know,
think I think like in your teens and early 20s, I was definitely kind of head in the clouds. Not when was I going to make it, but when I make it. I just
maybe
assumed,
that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's the focus and intention that it's going to happen. And
yeah, I mean, I just assumed that, I was half-arsed about it as well. That's the problem. I was just kind of like, music was my life, but I was procrastinated. It was half-arsed. I just assumed it would happen, and then probably, you know, no one knowing me, even though no one knows me in the music business, someone in the music business will come knocking on my door one day saying, "I hear you're a good guitarist. I want you to become a professional guitarist." Real kind of like, uh, just crazy thinking, really. But when you're young and drunk, and that's all you think about. I just remember buying all the weekly music papers and just wanting to be these people, and
that's the thing, is it? And then reality sets in. It's sort of, and again, it's
yeah,
it's fitting yourself into this mold of a musician rather than, you know, being it, because obviously you're against the tide and, well, the age. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah. I mean, I remember I really admired that guy I talk about who became a professional musician. I mean, I really admire his. He's a really intelligent bloke and had a good job for someone his age, like 19 or whatever. But he just kind of like abandoned all that and just moved into a squat with the rest of the band, signed on, and lived on this kind of like really kind of like poverty line way of being a musician, and just kind of was happy doing that. And that I'm one of I'm kind of like, I would have been totally insecure doing that. It would have scared the life out of me.
exactly, yeah, it's like,
So I really admire that about him, and that's probably one of the reasons he got kind of, became a professional musician. So um, yeah, there you go.
the impetus has to be there, you
Yeah,
know.
you just got to really want it and just go to any lengths.
It's, all that destiny stuff. Everyone's got their calling.
Um, Especially
Zero
nowadays, it's such um, a difficult kind of
game.
thing to get paid in. Especially with streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah,
What I don't like is, and we experience this when you've got, as adverts saying, we want are you the next big thing? Come and send a demo tape and you could be on our books. And we did that, didn't we? About 2012, we went to that um, really hot day and we went to some basement in Oxford Street or Regent Street.
oh
Do you
yeah,
remember?
because of auditions.
I remember we went downstairs and there's a little reception right down, didn't we? Right below ground level. And
Mm.
there was like, I mean, I kind of knew what to expect really, but there was like a young kid there with his guitar with his mum, I remember, sitting there waiting for their tryout. And then we played, we did Believers. I don't know if he did any more. And then I think they called us back, didn't they? A couple of days later, or emailed us and said, right, we want to work with you. You need to pay us £1,000. And it's like,
Yeah.
hold on. And I remember in the 90s, when I really was desperate to be a professional musician, I answered an advert in one of the music papers for songwriter for music for films and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be
And
awesome.
um, and I remember I sent them a demo, and they said, "Oh, we really really like you. Come and have a meeting." And I went to the back end of Oxfordshire somewhere, and it was really weird. I went into this house with this woman, and she was like, I was there for about 3.5 hours, and I literally said about 2 words because she just like, and she's trying to impress me all the time, saying, "Oh, we just had one of our scripts has been accepted by Hugh Grant, who was quite big at the time," and trying to impress me. And then I just gave him another song, and she really liked it. And she said, "Oh yeah, I think we'd like to work with you." And then they sent me You get your hopes up. They sent you a letter saying, "Yeah, I think this stuff you're doing is great. Uh, can you give us £2,000 introductory fee kind of thing, and to pay for because we it's basically like an advance of a record company. We have to pay for the recording of what you do. This is a goodwill. This is a introductory fee from you." So anyway, I
Oh,
rang
wow.
up. I rang up my mate was in the musicians union, so I said, "Can I borrow your membership?" And I rang them up and I said about the company, what the company was called, and I said, "This company's asked me to do it." And the guy at the musicians union just started laughing. He goes, "Don't touch them with a barge pole,"
Mm.
you know. And then they rang me up, the music company, and because I said I declined, joining. And he rang me up to want to know why. And I said I rang a musicians union. They said you're a scam artist, basically. And I think he got quite angry and put the phone down on me. So that's what I get angry about. That whole kind of like, I didn't give them any money, but going back to the first thing in the Regent Street, Oxford Street thing, that little kid with his mum, the teenager, he could be so into it, really want it so badly that he badges his mum into giving him £1,000,
Mm.
and then he won't. Because what they've probably done is they probably rented this suite under underground level in Regent Street for the weekend to do all these auditions. Then they say, "Give us some money, put it into his bank account, never see them again."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think we said back to them, didn't we? I think we had a discussion. We sent an email back to them saying, "Why are we having to pay if you've got so much confidence in us?
I'm sure.
Why are you having to? Why are we having to pay you?" And I think we asked them as well because I think they said they got some famous artists on their roster, and I think we asked them who these famous artists were, and they didn't reply. Didn't say they couldn't say because there weren't any. That's the kind of thing that pisses me off. And you get that in all kind of employment areas in life, don't you?
Yeah.
Um, but if you're kind of like if you're on the dole and you've managed to scrape together 2 grand, and then this company promises you the world
Mm.
for your two
Exactly.
grand, and then you never hear from them again.
A lot of people have just given up after those
Well,
experiences.
yeah, exactly. It's soul destroying. Probably have
Mm.
to, you know,
Well, I suppose it's similar to those people who are on Dragon's Den, when they put hundreds of thousands of pounds into their businesses and stuff, and then have to go bust for whatever reason. It's just like, oh, it's just heartbreaking, isn't it? Just think about all that money going down the pan. Well, that's the other thing with us. I suppose we've never invested heavily into what we're doing. Never bought followers. We've never, kind of sat down and thought, right, we're going to have to spend this much on our budget. And
how do you know when stress is pushing you versus breaking you?
well, lack of sleep is a surefire sign, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've just got zero energy the next day to even focus on anything. So that's burnout right there, right? And you can't concentrate.
Yeah, there's that kind of good stress, that kind of like, that kind of, I don't know, even stress before performing. I get quite stressed before recording, not on my own. This is why I do record my stuff on my own because
Yeah.
I can just take as long as I like. But if I'm kind of,
Mm.
and this is a good reason why we don't go into a recording studio to do it because it would, you got that added pressure and
Mm.
stress of like the clock's ticking, £500 for the morning. And
Yeah.
I haven't even done my first guitar part yet. And it's like, okay, now. Suppose there's that. And then what does burnout look like for musicians who can't afford to stop? Mm.
Well, yeah. Uh, drugs and alcohol. Typical of some,
Yeah,
a lot of bands obviously indulge to keep going, and they can because they can afford it. They can't. The irony, they can't afford to stop, but they have to if they want to not suffer that burnout. Obviously, you hear loads of celebs who've been down that path, right?
Yeah, I think yeah, like you say, drinking drugs and then sort of mental breakdowns.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, how many people have passed away, in the last, like the Liam Payne situation, and pretty sure even obviously actors and loads of other people in the industry, creative industries, have suffered hugely, haven't they? And then whether they're young or old, but obviously, yeah, there's been a lot of even recent old deaths, haven't they? Announced, and it's kind of like, wow, this is just happening every week. Um, I'm really trying to switch off the news now. That's one way for me to not be stressed and burnt out. So I'm
yeah, yeah.
tuning out of all the depressive news. Relentless. Um,
But there was that weird period in 2016, wasn't there, with David Bowie dying and Prince and someone else. You know, the world's never been the same since David Bowie died. I tell you,
no,
it went downhill. It went downhill, didn't it?
it's been a bit odd.
Um, do you ever feel behind people your Do you ever feel behind people your age who choose more stable paths? Do you ever feel behind people your age who choose more stable paths?
Hmm, good question. Probably most of the time. I've always felt like I'm lagging behind. Yeah,
Yeah.
different arenas. So, but again, it's like I don't really care about that, but I
No,
have felt,
exactly. It's that whole kind of
yeah.
it depends whether you're ambitious or not, isn't it? I've got friends who are super ambitious, earn more than half or earn more than double I do, and that's just the way they want to, that's just the way they're wired, and I'm wired differently. So I don't really,
But again, for us, it's not quantity; it's quality.
yeah, exactly. It's that kind of like, I kind of, it's that kind of, especially creative stuff, it's that kind of soul nourishment at the end of the day. Some people might nourish their soul by, um, you know, turning in a project on time at work, whereas we get soul nourishment from finishing a really good recording
Mm,
that buzzes us.
yeah,
Again, it's
having
all subjective.
yeah.
Um,
What's the
so
one thing
yeah,
that helps you stay grounded when things feel stuck?
it's the one thing that helps you feel grounded, stay grounded when things feel stuck.
Yeah, another ironic thing there.
Yeah, I suppose
Deep breathing, I'd say.
something that helps you stay grounded when things, yeah,
Meditation.
other stuff that nourishes your soul. Like cycling, and for me, qigong, and yeah, just whatever. Like for you, you got your art and stuff like that.
Got many outlets.
Yeah,
Staying grounded, for sure. I mean, I've really the Tai Chi's really helped me actually. This year, I was determined to get down every single day, but that's not been possible. But I mean, that really grounds me when I start doing a bit of that workout. So obviously, I don't do gyms, but you know,
yeah, me neither. Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. I mean, just for me at lunchtime, just walking down a coffee shop, grabbing a coffee, just kind of doing my daily Sudoku or whatever, and bit of doom scrolling, just checking out what's going on.
yeah.
You
And I do.
know,
Animals ground you as well, don't they? I'm doing another dog sitting stint next week, so
another what?
a dog sitting stint.
Yeah, right. Where's what you?
In Lightwater, so that'll
What
be
you go and live there? Do you?
fill you in next time. What's next? So we got 5, redefining success. Important for a New Year episode. If success wasn't about money or numbers, how would you define it this year?
Well, if success wasn't about money or numbers, how would you define it this year?
That's how you define
It's,
success, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, don't know, what is success, you know?
Some of the most successful people probably don't feel successful, you know.
I mean, it could be success for someone who's never done a gig is to do a gig, you know. I remember I put that in about 1988. I put that as one of my New Year's resolutions to do a gig by the end of the year. Yeah, and that seemed pretty successful. Yeah, you know, because it's a big thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
But for this year, I don't know. I just feel, numbers obviously don't mean much, but it's lovely to actually have this following we do have, and that's one thing we could, I suppose, compare to
yeah,
last year. Or do you know what I mean? It's like every year there's a slight bump of numbers, if that means anything to what we're doing. You know what I mean? It means,
yeah. I think it's
but whether it's going to be a successful venture in the end.
yeah. I mean, I think success for us really is to just make a better song than the last one.
Yeah,
You
just be able to
know?
do this, just be able to even have, yeah, the courage to be able to do it, despite all the things that we've told ourselves we couldn't probably in our own mental states. You know.
Yeah, it's just making a better song than so you feel you're going forward as opposed to going back. You know, and then sometimes you don't write a better song than the last one. You know,
Mm.
I've done that where I kind of want to try and write a song and I just churning out substandard stuff. You know, it's that kind of um,
Mm.
but for anything to be a success, you have to it has to be to be worth it. It has to you have to work at it. You can't just kind of like churn any old thing out. You know, it's got you got to work for success, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a real fine art to it all, isn't there? In a way, because you want someone to feel something from what you're doing. So it's not just all about you, is it? You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, for me personally, success writing a song that I really like, and you put the vocals on. I judge the success of that song by whether it's I want to keep playing it over and over and over and over. You know, where you finish it and you just want to play it again. That's how I judge one of our songs being successful.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, you just kind of like think, oh, it's great, and you just kind of want to play that again. And
Yeah, and obviously the raptures of applause we get when we.
yeah, yeah, because there's been stuff we've done where I haven't felt that. You know, that's kind of which is obvious. You know, you're not going to churn out gems all the time.
Yeah,
Um, so
and that thing where you just beat yourself up because you just never feel good enough with anything you do. But I guess that goes back into the imposter syndrome stuff, doesn't it? It's like, which we've discussed many a time.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
working on that a bit more. I certainly have anyway. Tried this year to really not go down that rabbit hole, and just not basically give a shit about those feelings. I think the more energy you give it, because
yeah,
it's always
exactly.
right on some
I mean,
level,
exactly. Is that kind of
just
I
ridiculous.
always I don't know about you. I always talk about imposter syndrome. Every time I write an okay song, I look back at all the songs and I just think I just feel like I've just fluked it all. You know, kind of
Yes.
like but um, but again, the imposter syndrome. You know, I had that with that really gorgeous Gibson 335 I had about a year or so ago. Great guitar, but I just felt an imposter playing it live.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, just yeah. So I feel much better with the Gibson SG. Feel
Yeah.
much more worthy, and I think it sounds a
Your current guitar.
sounds a better guitar.
Yeah.
Well, I've had it 2 months now and haven't sold it, so things are going well.
You're winning. Okay, what's a version of making it that actually feels healthy? It's good.
Um,
Making it. I mean,
was
getting a really fat advance for creating all our old numbers and bringing them into the modern world, this futuristic place we find ourselves in, 2026. Imagine if someone just handed you a check and said, "Look, guys, go to that,
Yeah, I mean, it's a
finish it."
version of making it actually feels healthy. I suppose
Wouldn't
it's
that be healthy,
I
Yeah.
suppose it's kind of it's that whole not having to compromise, not having to bring the chorus in after 25 seconds because the record company want it that early because that'll make it more of a hit.
Well, this is it. This is all formulaic stuff that, we don't seem to abide by. So, it's never going to be mainstream or whatever. So, mm,
Yeah. Um,
making it as opposed to,
I mean, there's some people who would say anything, kind of for making it, just to make it would be healthy. But feels healthy, I think, if you're kind of in control of stuff.
yeah, I just suppose it just feels healthy not to constantly dwell on whether you've made it or not, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that kind of
I mean, it's just a terrifying thought to sort of constantly feel like you're a failure because you haven't made
well, it's kind of like what's making it, what does that even mean? How do you gauge or measure making it?
Yeah.
Is it getting record airplay on BBC introducing? Is it
Mm.
playing a festival? Is it playing a gig in London? Is it just writing a song? Is it, I don't know. Is it playing live for the first time? I don't know. It's all subjective.
Yeah. And what are you proud of surviving, not just achieving?
Well, I suppose it's that
You've survived a
su-
lot.
surviving. Well, I don't know. Is that surviving the procrastination? You know, um,
Well, when you're referring to anything like work-related stress, that alone is surviving something that you're against the grain of. Like obviously, we've both had day jobs where we've just had to do it, get on with it. Um,
yeah, surviving hardships. Whether they're musical or not.
mm,
It's about. I was listening to a really good podcast, a spiritual podcast today about Earth and it's supposed to be a dramatic school. You know, you just got to remember that it's like being in a play where you're dressed up, you're acting this part
mm,
with all these other actors that are part of your play, and but at the end of that play, whatever you've done to the other actors or whatever you've done to you, whether if you've been a murderer and you've killed someone or someone's murdered you in the play, at the end of it, you just change out of the end of it, which is like the end of an Earth life. You just change back out your clothes into your normal clothes, and you're back, back to real life kind of thing. And um, I don't know why I started saying that. It's, to do with the
well,
question.
but the question was, what are you proud of surviving, not just achieving?
Yeah, I think it's like surviving life. Yeah, yes, we were saying, weren't we?
Well, this is why I guess the Buddhists have it down, don't they? Because nothing, they're just all this non-attachment is basically the golden ticket, isn't it? It's detaching yourself from anything that's going to rock your equilibrium and stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing in life. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
this is the thing again. Earth life. It's kind of like it wouldn't be a challenge in life if you just you know we just wrote something in 2 seconds. It became a hit single, and we earned loads of money, and we were famous, and it just happened. It's about overcoming challenges, isn't it, and growing from those challenges. And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the whole kind of measure of success. Really, it's like um, how you how you get through things. That's the whole survival, facing
Resilience.
facing the challenge. You know,
Mm. What doesn't kill
um,
you makes you stronger and all that.
yeah, it's that. Yeah,
Uh,
it's just the whole challenge of facing, that fight or flight. You can either face your fear and try and conquer it or sort it out, wherever it is, or if you run from it, it's always going to be there. You're gonna have to face it at some point.
mm.
Um,
And I guess other people's opinions also play a massive part, in your own confidence, I guess you could say. Do you know what I mean? It's like how many times have we been
yeah,
influenced by other people's opinions and then not do something because of that, or you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Decision making process, whatever.
That's the
Yeah.
kind of resilient. Yeah, there's the self resilience of actually. Yeah, thanks for saying that. It's your opinion, but we're just going to stick to what we're doing because that's what we believe in. Like
Right.
he's thinking the guy said journeys, didn't he? When he reviewed journeys, he said something like, "I really did not like this one at all. This song, you know." And it's
Yeah.
and he goes, it all sounds the same, you know, and it's kind of just his opinion. I think Journeys is a really good song. You know,
Yeah, and all those sort of cinematic pieces we've made that would be bloody awesome on a, thriller or whatever type of movie. It's we've had that vision, we've had those times where we thought, yeah, bloody hell, we should just be doing music for film or whatever. But you know what I mean? It's yeah, for someone else to think you're going to slam that down. Well, actually, we've already
yeah,
met our imaginations.
it is,
So
and it's kind of like it's that thing about if we relented and did everything he said suggested for those songs, they wouldn't be our songs anymore. They'd be his songs. You know,
exactly,
you know, and it's
yeah.
you know, so yeah.
So, what does
Oh,
progress look
excuse me.
like if we're being honest, not optimistic?
Uh,
Healthy dose of pessimism.
what does progress look like if we're being honest, not optimistic? Progress. Um, I suppose. I suppose it's just continuing writing good music, and continue to want to do it.
Mhm.
Um, the optimistic thing would be, set some goal at the end of it. But progress is just writing a better song than last time. You know,
Yeah.
me maybe learning the guitar a bit more than I know or whatever. Learning how to, you know, getting all my stuff for the iPad so I can record onto it. Learning all the garage band stuff and that. That's kind of progress.
Mm.
Pros because it can progress the music. Then
Yeah.
um,
But
yeah.
blind optimism, I suppose, you need a healthy dose of that anyway, because otherwise it just feels,
I think you need to kind of optimistic. I think you need positivity. You need to be positive.
mm,
Uh, that if you think this new song's great, but this person doesn't think it is, then you just got to have that kind of positivity. That actually, no, it is great. You know,
yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, though. I mean, I've really enjoyed these conversations with people about the dark shadow aspects of stuff because, if you don't talk about your feelings or what's bringing you down, and everything is just happy, shiny, you know, uh, positive, like high vibe. Yes, I mean that is a thing, and most people maybe don't have that, that inner standing, they call it. Do you know?
Mm.
But it's almost like, and again, all these influences come in the way of that, so how do you maintain this constant vibe, high vibe, that
Yeah,
pulls you down? Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you've got belief, self-belief, isn't it?
yeah.
Self-belief that the stuff you do is good, it is worth stuff, and people will want to hear it, and
But I suppose with our stuff, it's like getting to that stage where we're getting that out because it's finished. That's my benchmark of the success that we're going to actually create, is finishing that EP, or you
yeah,
know
do a proper finished product.
yeah, yeah. um but so that will be the shining moment, definitely, of our, you know
Mm,
the stuff that we've plowed for years with. So yeah,
mm,
yes, is a state of mind.
mm.
So, in the last section, it's all about looking forward, hope, and we're going to finish on something positive, aren't we? But realistic. Yeah.
Mhm.
What are you carrying into this year, and what are you leaving behind?
Um, what are you carrying into this year, and what are you leaving behind? That's a very good question. Um,
Have you given it a lot of thought lately?
mm, what came to this year, and what are you leaving behind? Well, I'm trying to leave a load of stress behind. Um, yeah. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it on those kind of terms. What you're carrying into this year and what you're leaving behind.
That's the thing,
Well,
though. We always sort of think 31st of Jan, that's it. Suddenly you're a miracle new person on the 1st of, you know, sorry, 31st of December, I mean. So,
yeah,
and the first day of the year is just suddenly you
it's a
just
bit
jump
like, yeah, suddenly new year,
persona,
new
because
new
you're just,
person without putting any kind of effort in.
I mean, I guess there's, yeah, all the old lists of good resolution type stuff you could do, which is actually really motivational. So I'm quite up for that. I definitely write more lists now,
Yeah.
into some sort of shape of.
I mean, there's stuff like, carrying like the good stuff, the qigong stuff and that, and
Yeah,
the cycling into this year, and leaving behind the kind of
I mean, stress is
mm,
tiring, isn't it?
it is.
It can be exhausting just to think about all these multitude of emotions, and also what's going on in other people's lives. It's not always just your own stuff, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of do to others as you want them to do to you. So
Yes. Definitely.
yeah, it's just being a nice, rounded, respectable person. You don't have to be. It's not about status or anything like that. It's about who you are as a person, not what you are, to corporate business or whatever.
Mm,
Um, yeah,
yeah. The
yeah,
whole world
it's
is changing now, isn't it? So it does feel like a lot of people are just following their hearts and, you know, career pursuits, etc. Because it feels time is limited. It's like you've just got to do what you want to do in life.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's that whole kind of don't put off to tomorrow what you can put off what you can do today. That kind of
Yeah.
put off and off and off, and then you don't achieve or do it,
That's
whatever it is.
classic time for people to say change their jobs, right? Or move. Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that kind of. I was listening to a spiritual podcast there about challenges, and it's kind of like people go into depression. I can when I'm challenged by life, and the spiritual lesson the challenge is, in some shape or form, your life isn't working for you. So the challenge is to change it so it does.
Mm.
And that can, however that is, instead of, I'm quite, I can be, I'm a bit better these days, but I can be quite kind of like just wallow in the whole kind of depression of it, as opposed to trying to change it. Um,
But again, it goes back to that thing of accepting that you've got this shadow stuff going on because we don't know why it comes on sometimes. It's just there creeping.
yeah, 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 yeah. You got to,
So you got to have words with yourself and this, what they call it, a black dog, don't they?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's gonna, it's gonna happen. You're going to be challenged in your life, and life. I just try and remember that life's about contrast. There will be dark times, but there will be bright times as well. It's not the only um, the only permanent thing in life is change. You
yeah,
know, and it's quite easy sometimes to get in a situation where you think, "Oh my God, nothing's going to catastrophize," and you think, "Oh my God, nothing's going to change. I'm going to be like this forever." Whatever it is, whatever situation it is, and
yeah,
it never is. Even if
mm,
you don't put in the effort to change it, something it changes somehow. Just that because that's how life is. You
yeah.
know,
It's how you deal with the next thing, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I've got to have my next challenge. I've got to have probably tomorrow. I'm going to have to go down and have a chat with my downstairs neighbour because they keep making noise.
No, really.
And this is like you kind of think about it. This is my one of my big challenges in life. It's kind of I've always had problems with neighbours.
Yeah.
Always kind of like just making unreasonable noise. Um,
Just reminded me of my neighbour next door. He's a really nice guy, actually. There's a family there, but he's got a wicked music system, I'd say, because you can just hear the bass through two walls.
yeah,
One particular night, it was so loud, and I was just like, "What?" I'm
I
just trying to.
know.
Yeah, and then I went out on the balcony. I literally tapped him on the window because I could lean over. I stepped on the chair that was there. I was kind of miming to him, and I think he thought I meant I've got a baby sleeping because he seems like
Uh,
he's like. I was like, "Can you turn the bass down, the bass down?" It's just like, baby. Oh yeah, and he just turned it down completely or off, and I was just like, oh, I didn't mean for him to. You could have just turned it down. It was mental loud,
yeah, you get some people that kind of
but he's polite.
they're either kind of like just assume that
Oh,
however loud they are, no one else outside the four walls, their flat or house can hear anything, or
yeah,
they're just ignorant and thinking no one's gonna be put off by it.
yeah. Well, they don't seem to think they haven't got soundproof walls, or
Yeah,
Well, good luck with that, mate. Anyway, yeah.
yeah. It's just they just got. I don't know what. It's another tricky one in that I know them. I know the
Mm.
girl especially, and she's really really nice. But they got. I'm not sure if it's to do with they got like tropical fish they got a turtle which I think is really cruel
God,
in a tank.
yeah. Oh,
But there's loads of banging last weekend, and they got this kind of not every night, but most nights you can hear this kind of like dull tone, like power tone, like power being on
mm, nightmare. Do you still wear earplugs?
all night. Yeah, yeah, with the earplugs as well. Can hear it a
Really?
little bit.
No. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Um,
Sound vibration, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like fucking hell. So
Yeah.
I presume it's them. I don't know, but I presume it is. So anyway, I'll go down there tomorrow and try
Well,
and say
yeah.
it in a casual. I don't mean to be that kind of. Don't want to be that neighbour, but you know,
Like me.
you putting something on all fucking evening and night that makes this noise.
Yeah.
It's just
There's nothing worse, especially if you've got a headache or something. They're just pounding
well, it
music.
just kind of like
Or
gets
you've got.
it just gets in your brain. Didn't
Mm.
sleep much last night because of it. I was just trying to find you can get in the odd position
Can you
in
go into
bed.
another,
You what?
can you go to another room?
I tried. tried, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
but to me, it's that kind of like it's pushing me just to kind of like right, need to move.
Right. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. It's a kind of like maybe it's just the universe because I'm kind of like I've been trying to decide what to do with my flat. Now maybe it's kind of like the universe going right. We're going to do this to really push you to put you in enough pain that you do something, which
Yeah.
is what happened in 2016 when my flat had in High Wycombe flooded badly.
Right. Yeah.
Put me in
It's
enough pain to think, right, I need to just get rid of you,
yeah. 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 Well, I've moved since what 2023. That's once a year, so I've moved 3 times since 2023, including London.
Mm.
But you just got to do that sometimes. Someone called me a nomad today. I was like, yeah, I'm a bit of a gypsy.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
just want to,
thank God
I just,
I don't mind moving. I actually love the buzz of moving and packing stuff.
yeah, I just want a little safe place for me and the cat, quiet,
Yeah.
just no hassles, just a safe place, and just can never really find it, you know. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Well, my
just,
cousin's looking for somewhere near your area actually as well. So you never know, might be neighbours soon.
mm,
So right,
yes.
so we got up to what's one boundary you want to protect your mental health as a musician?
As a musician,
So, yeah,
um, mental health as a musician, um,
that would be a chase you every few days for a guitar.
yeah. I suppose it's all to do with pressure, isn't it? So,
Mm.
um, I mean, mental health wise, kind of, um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's that comparison things. When we played the gig at the Hux the other week, there was a really I had to stop myself from comparing us to the first band, who were
Mm.
awesome, weren't they? I mean, she's amazing,
Yeah,
amazing voice, amazing songs. I
yeah,
remember thinking, oh my God, we got to go on art next, and so it's that kind of pressure. It's not really
mm.
mental health pressure, but I suppose it's that kind of um
Well, it's also as a duo, isn't it? Because we don't have the full band lineup like a lot of other bands, and they've got it's almost like it's almost more trickier when you're a duo because you're bouncing off one another, and do you know what I mean? There's more pressure to perform better, because everything's narrowed down, isn't it, to two sounds, whereas the whole band's got
well, I
all.
think I mean, always found that with being in the duo, you're just totally naked, really, aren't you? You just kind of like you're really just exposed, aren't you? There's no
Yeah, so you've really got
other
to.
band members to hide behind. Like for me, there's no kind of drums or bass to. If I stop when I shouldn't do, they'll probably carry on and it'll sound okay. As opposed to if I stop, it's like, oh, we stopped.
I mean, we probably beat ourselves up more than we should, and the feedback I've always had of people, they rave about it, and it's like that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
You're not lying, but um, mm.
Oh, the cat's come in soaking. Oh,
Oh,
it's
Eric,
raining outside.
it's been very right.
Um, but
What's a
yeah,
small realistic goal then that still matters to you?
let's see.
A small realistic goal. See
There's
that
someone list. Right.
pressurized.
What's the small realistic goal that still matters to you? Um, uh, I don't know. It'd be good to be played on the radio again,
Yeah.
I think. Um,
Because to be fair, we were up against a bit of a.
we had a bit of an easy week, I think, didn't we? Apart from that judge guy,
Well, that's
Dan
quite
LaRock, was it? Dan LaRock?
quite a sort of scathing.
Yeah, we just weren't his cup of tea, were we? He was
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
hip hop guy.
again, going back to we're doing a duo thing. We're not kind of all bells and whistles with drums and bass. So it's very almost you've got to sit still and listen to this. It might make you feel something, might not, but it's that actual slowing down, isn't it? And giving someone's music space and time. I mean, we've done that at other people's gigs, haven't we? And we've sat, like, obviously at the Hux, really enjoyed her set, and then
Mm.
we've seen other bands, and it's like, it's neither here or there. Sometimes, is it? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I mean that's that again. Shouldn't compare, you know.
we're supportive people. I say, it's just nice to support people that still want to get out there and do it, no
Yeah,
matter
yeah, yeah.
how people perceive them. You know, um,
Yeah.
we're deviating from the question, but um, if someone listens, oh no, hang on. Yeah, if someone listening feels stuck, what would you want them to hear right now? That word "stuck's" come up a lot, hasn't it? If someone
Yeah.
listening feels stuck, what would you want them to hear right now?
So advice, kind of advice.
I guess, and to anybody listening to this, I guess would also hopefully
If someone
glean.
listening feels stuck, what would you want them to hear right now? Well, advice wise, it depends how you're stuck, really. If you're stuck,
Why do you feel stuck? What in the situation
yeah, I
feels
suppose it's
stuck?
kind of like one way of doing it is to write down and achieve something to achieve by the end of the year that you haven't done. You know, like play a festival or play an outdoor gig or
Yeah,
busk, even like we did.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
If it's kind of a good one is Radiohead did. If you know if you're having trouble songwriting,
Mm,
try and write a song not using your usual instrument. You know,
yeah,
so um,
listen to
keyboard,
another
piano, whatever.
music that you don't normally listen to.
Yeah, yeah, just kind of
Be objective. Yeah,
get out your comfort zone. You know, if you're feeling stuck, you know, even though you're probably not ready, put yourself forward for a gig in a couple of months' time, work towards that. You know, it's something to work towards, and
yeah.
yeah, just get out your comfort zone, basically. You know, is what I'd say.
Take a walk, even a 5-minute walk, and just clear your head and
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
You know.
Learn a new instrument. You know,
Mm.
um,
And again, if you haven't got access to any of these types of things, and you're creative and you're just busting to do something, like obviously buy a guitar, but you haven't got the funds or whatever, what would you say?
well, go just
Learn a
look.
new different
Just
instrument.
it depends if you got a budget for a guitar, but it's not much. Go online, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace,
Mm.
um, or even do a hire purchase thing, um, or just go to buy and sell places, that have guitars, or even the local
They're endless. Hmm.
go to the local tip. They local sort of waste managed sites. They usually have like a recycling shop, and there's usually like an acoustic guitar there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, to do that. So if you've got any friends who've got a guitar, say, can I borrow it or buy it off you?
Mm.
All that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Um,
So you don't have to get stuck. It's just sort of pivoting your ideas to something that can suit your budget for a start. It doesn't have to be.
yeah, yeah, and it kind of like if you can't afford a guitar at the moment, then have a kind of structured saving plan. £20 a month or something
Yeah.
until you got enough money.
Mm. Or
Um,
find a kind friend that can do your productions for you.
yeah, yeah, just all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's just nice people can do things for each other, and that's all about the bartering thing now, isn't it? You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of
I mean, back in the day, I gave away so many. I did so many free vocal sessions. It's quite mad. I don't
yeah,
realize, like, oh my god, I'm actually a singer. I didn't really sort of believe it at the beginning. You know what I mean?
yeah. I remember when we first met, you were
Yeah, before obviously stuff got
traveling
published.
down to Devon and stuff like that, doing vocal
You know,
Taunton, think, yeah, doing the vocal takes and stuff.
yeah. Once the stuff gets published, and you think I should have probably done a lot more. Looking back, I didn't invest as much into myself, and yeah, again, part of that's probably all the confidence aspect, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Believing that you're doing it.
yeah, just kind of. I mean, even if you're not a musician, but you're really interested in music, think about promoting music at your local venue or managing your mates who are in a band or whatever, that kind of
Yeah.
um or go on a if you've got enough money, go on a sound engineering course so you can do that
Mm.
kind of stuff.
Well, it's obviously cool with people who've got the venues, like the place in Windsor that's now set up. It looks like a bit of a sort of a warehouse from the outside, but it's really kind of urban and kind of funky, and uh,
Yeah,
regular music nights in there. So I think with if you fancy doing a few of those, that'd be quite fun this year. So
yeah.
yeah, see what's
Which one's
going
that? Is that the open mic thing?
other spaces. Yeah, the three option thing.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But there's always something going on, isn't there? And it is about hanging out with other musicians, I guess, isn't it? Generally, if
Well,
that's
yeah. I mean, it's a community thing, isn't it? You get asked back, and I mean, we had that back in when Reading had more of a vibrant scene back in
mm,
2010, 2011, 2012.
yeah,
We play places and they say, do you want to, we do open mics, then we were like Deja Vu. And then they eventually asked us back to do just us doing an evening of, 45 minutes, hours worth of music. And then another promoter, he wants you to play other places. And
yeah. I mean, I guess if we'd done the sort of slick thing and got our show reels done and really chased the agents or something, back in the day, we could have got more gigs. But I
yeah,
suppose
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just,
um, the life stuff always changed that course of direction anyway, didn't it? So and here we are, nearly 20 years later. Who would have
yeah.
thought? But kudos to us, we're doing a little podcast, and hopefully someone's getting some joy out of this. uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I don't know quite where it's going to go. I mean, someone said, "Why don't you just send it to a production company?" And that's the thing. We haven't really discussed it together, have we? What do we do with this? Is it going to go anywhere? Our YouTube followings remain the same. Haven't done any kind of marketing around that. So where do you even Instagram? If we put it on there, how many people are actually visiting this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if anything has an impact anymore. I don't know
The trouble
how.
is, there's so many. I was chatting to a mate of mine the other day who does a podcast, and he's in the same kind of boat. It's just like, where do you go with it? Because there's so many people doing podcasts these days, saturated market kind of thing. But
Yeah.
um, we're lighting up our own little corner of the internet
Hmm.
with it. You know,
Yeah. But we hope this has brought some kind of peace and comfort to all the New Year revelers of the
indeed.
brand new dawning of a different era. And I guess, yeah,
Yeah,
even behind all the stresses of last year, I think it's really important to just keep on keeping on and
yeah. It's the year of the fiery horse.
exactly.
New beginnings. End last year is the end of. In fact, I think it's still going on, isn't it? Till Chinese New Year. It's the
Maybe
snake
New
snake
Year.
shedding its skin.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's very symbolic. And I guess, you do abruptly put a halt to endings that just don't no longer serve any purpose, I guess. You know, end the cycles of misery.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Um,
jump into joy as much as you can.
yeah. Well, one of my New Year's resolutions is play the Euro Millions every Friday.
Excellent.
and win loads of money, and then move
Why
to my
not?
safe place with my cat and not have to work. And yeah,
Exactly.
they say money doesn't bring happiness, but it does help. You know,
Does help.
does help. So I won £6 10 the other week on the Euro Millions. So
Yeah, again, small winnings.
you
It's
know,
like
little acorns.
luck right there. So you just need a sort of need the big jackpot luck of the
Yeah.
draw. So what's your takeaway from this beautiful episode, Andy, tonight?
Well, no, it's just I suppose it's more about you know you and art. You being an artist and sticking to your kind of like convictions, and
Yeah.
every art, it's all subjective. So just because someone doesn't think your stuff's good doesn't mean it's not, all that kind of stuff. It's just basically keeping that faith in yourself and your stuff, and not
Mm,
comparing yourself, which is quite easy to do.
yeah, sure.
Not comparing yourself to other people, and as long as it gives you a buzz, then that's all that matters, really.
Totally.
So yeah, there you go.
Well, we shall be back.
Yep.
Hopefully this month, but obviously we've got a couple of things trickling through now, the gig things, so we'll keep everyone informed. We hope everyone is staying safe and well into this year and shedding that snakeskin of 2025 because
Yep.
hell of a year.
Endings and beginnings.
It's a new
That's what
beginning,
it's all about.
and definitely keep the faith.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll speak soon.
Okay, love.
All
Take
right.
it easy.
Take care then.
Bye.
Bye.